First and foremost, welcome to this free class. I wanted to do this free class because I wanted to help people achieve the same, if not even better, results that I've achieved with credit repair, budgeting, saving money, eventually putting me in the car that I'm sitting in. Before I get into this lesson, I want to give you a brief story of how I ended up here. I actually included episodes in more detail of my story because I'm just going to give you the clip notes right now. But they're at the bottom of this webpage, and you can go step by step. And my story is my whole testimony. One of the things that I do want to share about it is that I was trying to get my child support in order. That's pretty much where it started. And so I started in November of last year, and all the way up until February of this year, I wasn't getting the assistance that I needed. They were dragging their feet. We were pretty much falling through the cracks. So it started off with a simple prayer. I prayed to Spirit, I prayed to God. I said, I need money. And I heard a quiet voice say, do you need the money or do you need the child support? I'm like, I need the money. Because I didn't want to rely on him to help me take care of our children. I didn't want to rely on the court system. I didn't want to rely on child services. I said, I got to find my own way. So 2 weeks later, after that prayer, I was given an opportunity to work with a client. I'm a home caregiver. I've been doing home care for like over 20 years, and I do private clients. So I was like, good, I got me a private client. I have some income coming in, so I won't have to worry so much about the when I will get this child support moving. So I was fighting a lot of life battles. I was fighting that battle. I was also fighting a battle with my health. I'm a new diabetic, I'm hypertensive, and I have a disorder called osteogenesis imperfecta. So it's kind of reminding you of like the brittle bone syndrome or whatnot. So if a fall for one person can be very detrimental to me. So I was working on my disability. Disability is deny me, deny me, deny me. So that's another battle in itself. So fast forward, I made my decision in that moment that I'm going to take control of my life and stop letting all of these variables dictate the type of life that I want to live and I want for my children. So his wages started being garnished in May. Woo, was glad for that. Didn't get the over 10 grand back pay that he was supposed to pay, but it is what it is. So after I started getting the back pay in May, I already have my private client. I'm like, things are really looking good. So I was on TikTok and I was scrolling and I kept seeing people saying they got cars from Enterprise. I'm like, let me go on the Enterprise website and push some buttons to see what they say. So I went online and I've been working my digital business in the background as well, but it hadn't picked up just yet. So I was online and I was just pushing buttons and they asked me how much I want to put down. I said, oh, $1,000. And I got this message. I was like, oh my goodness, what did I do? So after I got approved, I was like, oh, how in the hell am I going to get this car? I got to come up with $1,000. Well, that is when I really focused on my digital business. And a couple days after I got the car, I made this in one day. Yeah, I made this because I shared the process that I'm going to share with you with others that had their own life happenings and they needed extra money and they needed a way out of their circumstance. So I got the car. And with that being said, I said I have a proven process that I not only want to document, but if someone came to me and I wanted them to follow in my same footsteps to receive some of the same results I received, but even better, because I always want better for people. When people come to me the way that they are, I want them to leave with better. I want them to leave with more knowledge. I want them to leave with a checklist. So I developed this course, or this page rather, so that you all can achieve your own results. And in the future, give me your testimony as well. Let me tell you something. When life happens fast. I wasn't getting the child support that I was supposed to be getting. I got a bike so I can get back and forth to work. The bike put me down. I got a trike. Before I was able to finish paying for the trike, I'm on my last payment. I'm still on my last payment as I'm making this video. Then I upgraded to a vehicle that's allowed me to do a little bit more moving around. And I did this. It happened so quick. That Wednesday, I applied for this vehicle. I was approved that Wednesday. And I'm sorry, I picked up the car Saturday. Then after I picked up the car Saturday, I filled out an application to get a new home for me and my children. We live in an apartment complex now. And this is something that's a huge deal because I am a divorcee now. And I pretty much started from nothing but the back clothes on our backs and my 3 children. So I said, hey, I was able to get the car. Let me see if I can get the house. So over the weekend, I filled out the application. I went and spoke with Dave, and he showed me around a lot at the different houses and possibilities. I told him what I wanted to achieve. I want to have land where my kids would be able to live on the land as well because I have a college student and 2 younger autistic children. If I can't name any other reasons for why I go as hard as I go and why I am the person that I am, I got 3 little reasons that confirm all of that. I'm telling you my story as it's happening. This past Wednesday, today is Sunday that I'm making this video. Last Monday, almost a week ago, Dave gave me a call and said, hey, when you want to come get your house. I'm like, come get my house. Dave is already speaking life into me. I haven't even filled out the application yet to know where I stand. So we set up an appointment for Wednesday, which was Wednesday gone. I went to him. We toured the different houses and floor plans. I told him what my plans were, and he listened, and he helped me make the best decision, and I was able to get a 4-bedroom home. So he was like, well, let's do the applications. Let's see what your credit looks like, and we move forward. Well, we did an application on Wednesday. I got an approval on Thursday, which was Thursday gone, for my home that I chose. Yeah. Now I want to close this video with something very important. After I got my car, right, and I was approved for the house, I had my old bike still. So Saturday, which was yesterday, I was sitting in the car doing content, figuring out how to organize all of this information, right? And there was a guy sitting in the complex on the curb. It looked like he was in deep thought, right? And I was trying to avoid him. Now, this is the human part of me. I was trying to avoid contact with him because, for one, he's a man. He's somebody I don't know. I don't know what his mental state is or anything. So I was trying to avoid him because I didn't want him to ask me for anything, and I didn't want that interaction. But I heard that small, quiet voice again. I had the bike in my trunk because it broke down on me at my caregiving place, so I was able to bring it home in the trunk. And I spoke to him. And I'm going to try to tell you all this story without crying because I'm a little emotional about it. So when I asked him, I walked up to him and I said, hey, excuse me, do you have a form of transportation? And he was looking at me like, okay, who is this woman? He's like, well, no. I said, are you able to get around to where you need to get around? He was like, yeah, I fare off pretty good. And I said, well, I have something for you if you want to take it. Could you help me get it out the trunk? And I popped my trunk, and he got out the trunk, and he said, well, miss, can you fill up my bottle, from your apartment with water? Because it was hot yesterday, hot as hell, actually. And I said, I'll be right back. So I went to my apartment. I got the keys to the bike, the charger, and a bottle of water cold out the freezer. And I gave it to him. And I said, this bike is yours. He was like, oh my gosh. And I said, yeah, I paid $280 for it, but it got me through a hard chapter in my life, and this bike still have life in it, and I want to give it to somebody else that can use it. And he was like, thank you, miss. Thank you so much. I said, I know I was asking you a lot of personal questions. I wasn't trying to get into your business, but I have been blessed immensely in the past week. And this bike, all it's going to do is collect dust. And like I said, it still has a lot of life in it. And if you can use it to get around where you need to go and possibly, I can't help you with all of your problems right now. That's between you and God. But I can at least help you with this problem. He said, well, what is your name? So in case someone asks me who did this for me, I can tell them. I said, tell them God did it because God did it for me. And he took the bike and rode off into his own sunset. And in that moment, I had a moment of gratitude. I let go something that helped me through a difficult chapter so it can help someone in their chapter. I got to cut the video. I'm going. So the reason why I started this is not only to help people. It started off as me helping myself. And the information I came across, I knew that other people can use this information. I'm hoping to reach as many people as I can because this information is life-changing. I'm not going to say you're going to become a millionaire. I'm not even going to say you're going to become a thousandaire. The whole purpose of me doing this is because this information is too much of a blessing to keep. So I know I was going to keep it short. I'm sorry if I bored you with my story. But the next video, I promise, we're going to get into step by step.